Chuck, I'm coming in hot.
Hot?
Hot, man. It's a hot take.
Uh-oh. All right. Bring it on.
I'm so freaking annoyed. I'm looking at the Facebook thing I put up the other day.
Yes.
It's been shared 15,000 times. I don't want to complain. Why is it that every time somebody says they don't want to complain, they complain for 20 minutes?
You hear some complaints coming in. Yeah, that's true.
There is a fake me going around again. We've been through this before. Remember a couple years ago, there was a page on TikTok that had 1 million followers?
Yes.
And
it weren't you.
It wasn't me. It sure looked like me, but it wasn't me. Anyway, we've entered the next level. AI Mike is now being associated with a number of products that I have no relationship with at all. And the one that is driving me crazy right now is with Yeti products. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't seen what's going on Facebook, let me just tell you, this is not Yeti's fault. Basically, this is a phishing. You know what? Can you play the one or one of them? There are like 7 right now that are making the rounds.
I got one right here. Hold on.
All right. Here we go.
Hey, y'all. It's Mike Rowe here, and I have one
No, it's not.
for you. Would you like to own a Yeti cooler set? To celebrate 15 years in business together, we have decided to give them away to fellow Americans for free.
No, you haven't.
If you're seeing this at you can get a free Yeti bundle today. But
no, you can't.
There are a few rules. You must live in the United States. And
no, you don't.
Get one free bundle set per household.
I only need one.
Click the button below and answer a few questions. These will only be given out until the end of the day today. So don't hesitate. Supplies are running out, so get yours.
I'd hesitate.
Thank you guys for all your support, and hope you love your Yeti products like I do.
That looks like you, Mike.
I hope you love your Yeti products like I do.
I mean, it's uncanny, dude.
Look,
not really. I can tell.
Being me, I know that's not me, obviously, but I'm talking to you about this now because I've heard from no less than 500 people who have asked me if this is real.
Right.
It's not. And I don't want to be dismissive by saying, obviously, it's not, because you know what? It's not obvious to a lot of people. And if 500 people are asking me, that means thousands have taken the bait. And that's probably the right way to put it, because this is bait in a fishing expedition.
Yep.
So what's happening, folks, is they want your personal information. They're inducing you to give it up with a free cooler and using what's left of my good name to associate the whole transaction and give it, some level of credibility, perhaps. The crazy part, Chuck, is it's working. It's obviously working in a huge way.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can't tell you how many people reached out to me and said, is this thing for real? Because the deal is just ridiculous. You're going to get this bundle from Yeti, which, they're expensive products and stuff. But people they thought for sure it was you.
Yeah.
And they were hoping. And a lot of people asked me after they already gave their personal information.
It's just like, on the one hand, it's just mischief. You look at it and you're like, oh God, buyer beware, caveat emptor.
Yeah.
A fool and his money are soon parted. You could go down the list. But, I mean, this is the top of the first inning. And it's not going to be long.
It's going to get worse.
Till I look at me and go, I don't know. That might have been me. We're not going to be able to tell the difference. And once we can't tell the difference, then, what makes me nuts is, we've reached out to Facebook. We've had these conversations, and they're like, yes. Yeah. We can take it down, but they can't keep it down. It's like there are hundreds of millions of roads.
Whack-a-mole.
Right, on a cosmic level, because there are hundreds of millions of ways to get that video onto a platform, any social platform. And once the owner of the platform is alerted, they can block the road that was taken to get it there, but they can't block all 100 billion roads. So it just keeps popping up and popping up. So Facebook can't fix it. Yeti can't get it taken down. My lawyers can't find the son of a responsible for this, who's probably some kid in Nigeria holed up in his mom's basement who's cracked the code, right? And so there is no explanation, or there is no remedy. It can't be fixed, is basically what we're being told.
Yeah.
Which means, so like, what happens if fake Anderson Cooper pops up and says, hey, folks, I just want to let you know that after giving it a lot of thought, I think Donald Trump is the right leader for our country. I think he's got some really super ideas. And on behalf of everybody at CNN, I'm sorry for ever saying mean things about him. And now suddenly
I don't think anybody would fall for that. I think we're safe from that happening. Go on.
If it looked good enough, and when it gets shared, right? And then, so if David Zaslav calls Zuckerberg over at Facebook after this happens and says, I need you to take this down now. See, part of me thinks it would happen. Part of me thinks they'd find a way. They'd find a way. I mean, fake Donald Trump pops up and says, my fellow Americans, I've had enough. The missiles are in the air. We'll see who's laughing now, Putin.
Yeah, it's War of the Worlds,
That's right.
Well, it's already happening where people are getting defrauded from money. You remember I told you about the movie Thelma last year about the grandmother who gets a call from her grandson saying, hey, I need $10,000, send it here quick. It was like that was based on a true story. And that happened several years ago. And like you said, we're in the first inning. It's only going to get better and better and better.
And worse and worse and worse.
And worse and worse and worse, yeah.
And
better AI and worse consequences.
And just so people it's like, well, what's the real? So I entered a sweepstakes, and I didn't get the Yeti. That was a lie. But now somebody has my name and number. I didn't give my social security number. I didn't give my credit card number. Although maybe you did. Maybe you did. Right? There are different levels of phishing. But what happened on TikTok with that fake page was people were contacted who the scammer knew had seen me sitting in this exact spot, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so they noticed a book in the background. This one. All right? It's a book my mom wrote.
Yeah.
So what they do is they reach out to the persons whose email address they have, and they say, as me, and say, look, I really appreciate you watching. I know you're a fan of my mom's books. I wanted to let you know that my mom has autographed this one specifically, and I have too. And I'm selling 100 right now to raise money for MikeroweWORKS for $30, first come, first serve. And then they get your credit card.
They're going to use this video that you just did, and then it's not even going to. They're not going to even need a deep fake. You've just done it.
Anyway, look, I don't have an ask other than to maybe share this video. I did something similar on Facebook, and it's the video explaining that the Yeti thing is a fake has now reached millions of people. And I think that's really important because I don't know what else to do. I really don't know what else to do except let people know that it's happening.
Right, and you can also caution them on one thing, because I have figured out one thing. I get a lot of text messages that say, hey, are we still on for Wednesday? Or, hey, I'm coming to Los Angeles on Friday. Can we get together, right? You get those all the time, right?
Oh, yeah.
So one of them is now a good time to talk? And, of course, if you get that, your first instinct, and it's obviously not a number in my contact sheet, you think, well, is this somebody who for business or whatever? And so the natural response is to answer and say, who is this or whatever. Yeah. But you don't want to do that, because as soon as you engage, it does something where, like, I've tried to report that as junk after I've responded, and I can't. I can only report it as junk before I've responded.
Yeah, look, I have fun with those, like the same way I do with with a telemarketer. And then I realized, it's probably AI. I'm just dueling with a bot. But somebody just yesterday sent me a picture. This woman says, hey, I'm coming back to California.
Right.
Are you still there? And, she sends a picture, a very attractive woman at a swimming pool, So I said, yeah, still here, same place. And she says, want to get together? I'm going to be in town next week. And I said, that would be perfect. You pick the date and time, and you know where to meet, right? Same place we met last time.
Right.
So now the AI or whatever it is like, can you remind me? I'm like, oh, no, not on a text. I can't do that. But you remember the things we did, the times we had. I'll see you there again. You just say when. And then, I like to imagine somewhere something is like shaking and smoking and, falling apart. There used to be a thing you could do, because I've made some mistakes, man. I worked in the telemarketing game for a while.
I've heard.
I didn't make mistakes, but I'm not really thrilled about it. Nor am I ashamed, but I learned about these things called predictive dialers.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there with your headsets on, and rather than you picking up a phone and dialing the number, the machine dials it. It also keeps the customer service reps sitting there making more calls than they otherwise would. So the number just pops up on the screen. Well, there was about a year or two. I don't know if they've fixed it yet. I'm sure they must have. But there was a glorious hack that you can employ.
Okay.
And when you answer the phone, you say hello, and then you hear those 3 seconds of silence.
Right.
That's when the predictive dialer is connecting the customer service rep to you. And so that's when you know it's a fake call. But if you hit the pound sign 3 times, beep, 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 during that silence, crashes the predictive dialer. Yeah. And I learned that from my boss's boss and tried it a few times. But now, nobody really calls you at home anymore. When's the last time you answered your phone from a number that you didn't recognize?
It happens on days when we're shooting or you're appearing on, like Fox and Friends or something, because usually it's, New York calling or somebody. So
maddening.
Yeah.
Maddening. Well, I don't even have a voicemail anymore. I don't answer the phone unless it's a name I know.
By the way, I wanted to thank you for the voicemail you sent me.
No, what'd I say?
Well, I got it. I got a copy right here, and I just want to say I really appreciate it.
Hey, Chuck, it's me. I just wanted to give you a quick call to let you know how invaluable you are to MRW Productions.
It's very nice.
Seriously, we could not do anything around here without you. Not only are you a great friend, but you are also a world-class producer. I hope you know that when I threaten to fire you, it's only a joke brought about by my intense insecurities around my career. I mean, we both know that I wouldn't have a career without you. Well, that's all I really wanted to say. No need to call me back. Just know that I'm doubling your salary just to make sure you understand that I really mean this. Oh, and thanks for giving me the idea for Dirty Jobs. You really did me a solid with that one. Very nice.
I mean, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all that. That's very sweet of you. Yeah.
So what'd you do? Did you go to a site and say, give me a Mike Rowe sound-alike, or what?
Let me tell you this. I had, I've done a lot of voiceover for John Newcomb. He does documentaries, right?
Yeah.
And so, and every time he calls me, and it's like, I don't charge him anymore because he's my pastor now, So I just, every time he calls me, I go, oh, okay, John, how long is it going to take? He's like, just a couple pages, and it's like 6. And anyway,
charge that guy, man. Who cares if he's a pastor? He's got to pay. 10% at least.
Okay, well, anyway, so he sends me a text or an MP3 that is my voice, and he goes, hey, this is Chuck Klausmeyer. I don't have to do anything for John Newcomb anymore. And it was pretty close to me. And so I called up John and I said, hey man, if I send you a script, can you do that with Mike Rowe's voice? And he said, all I need is a 15-second clip of Mike Rowe's voice. I gave him the Good Ranchers ad from last week.
Yeah.
The Raw. And I gave him the script, and I swear to you, Mike, it was less than 4 minutes later that he sent it back to me.
The moral of the story is, well, first of all, you're fired.
What?
Yeah, you're
out. But you said on the
yeah. No, it's coming. It's here. It's here. The deep fakes are here. They're only going to get deeper. I don't have anything to do with Yeti. If you see that ad, please don't sign up, and please spread the word. Right. I have to go get a haircut. Is there anything else you want to talk about before I leave?
Yeah. One more thing. I just want to get your take on what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. He's gone and then he's back.
Yeah. What was he ever really going to be gone?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I actually do think about this a bunch. I've been boycotted before. Never really canceled, but pretty close on a couple of occasions. First of all, I grieve for late night. I personally so miss this world of Dick Cavett and Jack Parr and Steve Allen and Johnny Carson and Tom Snyder. And I so wish we would get back to people on the air who either are funny or understand that there's just no point in alienating half your audience by taking such a hard political decision. I just think it was such a catastrophic mistake on the network's part to let their hosts do that. That's not to say that I think the networks should be in control of the speech that their hosts employ, but you can encourage, you can encourage, and you can listen to your audience. So when Jimmy, and by the way, I know Jimmy, we've met a few times. I was on his show back in the day.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Google it. I'm out there. I met back when he was dating, what's her name, Sarah Silverman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really fun time. I knew Charlie Kirk. I liked him.
Yeah.
We posted a video hours after he was killed on this channel, and I'm glad we did that, incidentally. And I was angry that Jimmy would make light of that. I just thought it was, obviously, it's not funny, but I thought it was cruel and tasteless. And so when I heard that there was a consequence for that, if I'm being honest, I didn't care. I wasn't chilled. I wasn't concerned that somebody's First Amendment rights had been, trodden upon. I just figured, look, that was dumb, and you upset your bosses, and you probably upset however many viewers you have left, and now you're going to pay a price for it. But then I read that Brandon Carr said that thing on the podcast about, I forget who, I think he was talking to Benny, what's his name?
Benny Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who I've also interviewed, and vice versa. And he said, Disney, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
Right.
Right. Now that's the head of the FCC.
Right.
That's a government spokesman, essentially saying, "Hey, Disney, nice network you got over there. Shame if something were to happen to it."
Right.
That's different than ABC firing Jimmy Kimmel. That's different than the ABC affiliates deciding not to carry the show. That's different than a bunch of advertisers getting together and saying, you know something? We're going to pull our advertising from this show because we were offended to that degree by his speech. And that's also not to say that the viewers themselves couldn't turn it off and keep it off, which would probably lead to the same eventuality over time anyway. So I guess my answer is I wasn't sorry to see him go. And I'm not really sorry to see him back, but I was sorry to see the government lean into it.
Do you think that's the reason that he was suspended? Because of what Carr said on Benny's show?
Look, I know that, I know that there's some big mergers happening, and I know that ABC doesn't want to run afoul of the president or the administration. It certainly didn't look good, did it? I mean, optically, optically, you could look at that. And I don't know if it's Nexstar or who it is, but there's like a $6 or $7 billion transaction that the FCC needs to approve, right? And so I think implicit in that warning was the idea that, look, easy way, hard way. But at the same time, a lot of viewers, I think, were genuinely offended, and advertisers. So, I mean, I've been on both sides of this more than once, but the answer to your question is I wasn't sorry to see a consequence for that comment, because that was a hard and cruel thing to say. But I don't think the government has any place in leaning on people like that.
Right. And what I'm getting at, though, is do you think that he was suspended because of what Carr said, or because of Sinclair and Nexstar, saying they weren't going to run it? And doesn't, so it's even more confusing. It could be either of those, right? Let's say.
Yeah.
But it can only be one if if the suspension is over and he's back on the air in less than a week.
You know when we'll know?
When?
January.
When his contract is up?
Yeah. That's when you know. I mean, look, I don't have any inside information, but you know what? What I did read, and I think this is true, the number that matters in the ratings is called the key demo.
Key demo, yeah. 125,000. That's what I read.
125, 150,000 people.
Yeah.
Which brings me back to my earlier point. Like, who's really watching Colbert? Who's really watching Kimmel? I don't want to say anything negative about them in terms of their comedy, their art, whatever it is. But 125,000 people in the key demo, 800,000 people just watched me bullcrap with Theo Vaughn for 90 minutes. Nexstar and Sinclair could put up this podcast right now and probably get more viewers. I'm not saying you should, but
it's the key demo that's important, because there are a lot of people who watch Colbert. I know some of them. I'm related to some of them, and you know that too. But they're much longer in the tooth. They're not in the key demo. The key demo was quite a few years ago for the people that I know who watch that show. So anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, look, my honest answer is I don't know what Disney was really thinking, but we will know for sure. If that contract isn't renewed, then I think what that means is it really had nothing to do with the government, and it was an opportunity, maybe, right? Maybe an opportunity for the network to say, you know something, maybe we would like to audition some new talent. Maybe we'd like to experiment with a new format. Maybe, I'm not angling for a job, but maybe that's what Nexstar and Sinclair should do. I mean, those two, just so people understand, those are affiliates. Collectively, they own hundreds of ABC affiliates.
Yeah, right.
And they're not back with Kimmel. They're preempting him. So
they were serious. They said no, we're not going to cover him anymore. We're not going to air him anymore.
Right. So the show winds up reaching, less than like a third of the sets are gone.
I don't know. I don't even think it was that many, actually. I think you know what? Let me look it up.
Well, Nexstar and Sinclair together own a lot of ABC affiliates. But my point was, if you're a local affiliate, now suddenly you've got a slot open at 11:30. What do you want to put on there? I think the answer is anything you want. Wheel of Fortune. Somebody's got to do it. People you should know. Dirty Jobs. I mean, these shows are all available.
They have something in common.
Also available. I'll tell you what they should do.
Go ahead.
Theo and I, we were talking, me and Theo, about that show for American entrepreneurs.
Right. I
think he's serious. And we got a lot of feedback when he was on the podcast about, let's do that. Let's sit down, Mike Rowe, and let's meet people who, make flower pots out of cow crap and things like that. And that show would do great at 11:30 at night. Theo's whole audience would go.
For real. Yeah.
There's like 12 million people.
Oh, you know what? I just went to ChatGPT, and according to this, it's 28%. So you were right. 33 is close. 28. That's more than I thought. I thought it was like 15. So
well, it's more than a quarter of the country now. Suddenly, I mean, look, how do you feel about an affiliate deciding, something? I'm taking you off the air because I don't like it.
Right.
Now, there are plenty of people who I don't really think understand the whole notion of free speech, who say that's terrible. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't take somebody off the air. But man, where you guys been? I mean, remember when the FBI told Twitter who to take off the platform?
Yeah, I do.
Remember when Facebook admitted to Congress that, yes, the government told them what to do? And I got shadow banned myself.
Yeah. Yes,
So but I can lick my wounds from that and understand, look, this is like, I don't have a right to be on Facebook or on YouTube. I don't have a right to work for the Discovery Channel or for CNN or anybody who's employed me. They can fire me at will, and they should if I'm doing something that they don't like or that their viewers don't like. Keep the feds out of it, I don't want a president making a call to get me fired because he doesn't like me. But, what can you say about an affiliate whose viewers are outraged because they've heard something they despise?
That's one of the things that that a lot of people have conflated, this idea of free speech, that it was somehow a violation of, people said, what about free speech with Jimmy Kimmel getting suspended? And it's like, it's only a violation of his free speech if the government is involved. Now, Carr saying what he said and then him getting suspended, the timing of that is a little sketchy. But the fact that he's back in less than a week tells me that it wasn't that.
Yeah, me too. But there's also just a basic hypocrisy here that I can't get past. Like, I'll never get past. I don't care.
I know what you're thinking.
I will never get past Gavin Newsom
Oh,
putting people in jail
I don't know what you were thinking.
for going out in the world without a mask while he had dinner at the French Laundry without a mask.
Right.
Like, literally within the same week. That to me is like, you should recuse yourself for that reason, and that reason alone. The hypocrisy is rank. But I remember Jimmy talking about Roseanne Barr.
That's the thing I thought you were going to say.
Is that's going around too? That's it.
There it is, yeah.
What's this thing say? We have a lot to talk about tonight. This is him giving a monologue back in May of 2018. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Let's start with Roseanne Barr, who, as you probably heard, tweeted something disgusting about Valerie Jarrett, a former aide to President Obama. She compared her to an ape, which is not just offensive, it's racist. And ABC, to their credit, didn't waste any time. They canceled her show today. I'm not a fan of censorship, but forgetting that everything before "but" is bullshit.
Yeah, that's right.
But this wasn't about free speech. It was about consequences for saying something vile. You can say what you want, but networks don't have to pay you to say it. Oh, Jimmy. Roseanne's been a friend of mine for a long time, and I know she's not a racist in her heart, but what she tweeted was indefensible. You can't just blame Ambien for that. Actions have consequences, and ABC made the right call. All right. So, I'd like to amend my answer.
Okay.
I would retire. If I had said that and then went through this exact same thing,
Yeah.
I would not apologize. I would not ask for forgiveness. I would say, I've looked back at my life and I've found moments that drip with so much certainty that have left me no choice but to conclude I am the worst kind of hypocrite. And I can't pretend I'm anything but. Wish I hadn't said it. I do regret it, but I got to step aside now.
And you will go to the penalty box and feel shame.
I mean, how do you say that about Roseanne and then rally support for all of the, I guess the answer would be because of Brendan Carr. Because Carr dipped his beak in this and gave Jimmy every reason to say, you know what? The feds leaned on my boss, and now I lost my job, and that's a violation of free speech. And if that's true, he's not wrong. But
Keeping in mind that everything
before "but" is bullshit. But that meme is real. That quote's not made up. Yeah. I don't know how he lives with that. I don't know how Gavin Newsom lives with the French Laundry. And I don't know why people would simply accept the apology on its face. Look, man, I've been boycotted. Were you working for me before you were making
you were
up,
when you were
email messages and voicemail messages?
Voicemail is what that was. Yeah. No, I don't think I was working for you then.
Yeah, I really got to get my hair cut, but people can. It's a pretty interesting story. But we were doing those shop towels. Remember that campaign?
Oh yeah. That's when I was working with you. I worked with you for like 10 years. Doing campaigns for different sponsors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ford and Kimberly Clark, et cetera, Novartis.
We did this thing called shop towels, which was a Kimberly Clark product, and it's like this red cloth towel that's used in garages all over the country, and these things are laundered in giant industrial machines. And what Kimberly Clark noticed was that freshly laundered shop towels, because they're all washed together, hundreds and thousands from different companies, come back with significant trace metals in them.
Heavy metals, yeah.
That shouldn't be there, right?
Yes.
So guys use the towels, they rub their face, they get, all kinds of crap in their eyes and ears and so forth. So Kimberly Clark could come out with this product, like a disposable shop towel. And we did this campaign about the fact that all these heavy metals were found in freshly laundered towels. A union, I think they're called TRSA, that represents textile workers who wash things like napkins and tablecloths and maybe hospital linens.
They took umbrage.
They were so outraged
Yeah.
that they wrote this letter and to all their members, and they posted it publicly. And they then organized a boycott of all things Mike Rowe, including the Discovery Channel and Caterpillar and Ford and Lee Jeans, like my foundation, everybody, everything I was involved in. They said, please send this guy a message that when he talks about how these shop towels should maybe be replaced by a disposable alternative, he's costing hardworking people jobs.
Right.
Now, so, did I cry free speech? Did I cry that's not fair? Did I run to Mary, my partner, and say, look, you can't let them do this. We need to get a lawyer? It's like, no. This free speech is them being able to take umbrage with something I did and then try and organize through action pressure that would keep me from doing the thing that they didn't want me to do. That's not illegal. But neither is it illegal for me to fight back.
Yep.
I don't know. It's probably out there somewhere, but I think the term that I should have copywritten it, because I think I created it.
Oh, right. I remember this.
It's called like what happens if you take a crybaby and a big fat bully and put them together.
You got a Crybully.
You got a Crybully. So I posted a picture of me holding some onions at an old onion farm with tears streaming down my face. And I titled it Crybully, and I addressed the guys in this union who were trying to cancel me before canceling was a thing, and I posted it, and it got shared, and they got shouted down. I remember feeling like, you know what, this was a pain in the neck, but it was a righteous fight, and in fact, the guy who
I was going to say all of your fans chimed in and just, gave them hell. Well, in the comments section.
That was kind, but I also got some really great feedback from people I never heard of and who probably didn't know me too well. Some people who worked for some of the companies that, were being asked to essentially fire me. It was very gratifying. And the guy who ran that union and organized the boycott was fired as a result.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you can find the letter on mikeroweWORKS. It's a really interesting exchange, I thought. But anyway, I really got to go get my hair cut. But that was when I think about who should be canceled and who shouldn't, and all of this other stuff, I'll always remember that, because I don't think anybody really did anything wrong. They had every right to do what they did. I have every right to make a commercial about heavy metals and shop towels. They protest. Sure. I push back. But now suddenly we're in this world where everybody's watching, and now suddenly everybody has an opinion. So what's the consequence? It could have been, like, I could have lost work. I could have lost my business, I guess. I could have been fired from any number of gigs, or that guy could have been fired. In this case, he was fired. So
You survived.
I survived for another day. We'll see what
Just
happens
like Jimmy
tomorrow
Kimmel.
after this. Yeah, hey man, I really got to go. But to sum up, I'm not working with Yeti.
Right.
Don't give anybody your information. Jimmy Kimmel, hey man, congratulations, you're back. I don't know, is it a teachable moment? Are there lessons to be learned? Not for me to say. But if I were an affiliate over there at Nexstar or Sinclair, I'd hire me and Theo Vaughn to start highlighting American entrepreneurs tonight.
And if you need an Ed McMahon,
All right, Charlie, I got to go. If you haven't noticed, man, here's a disaster.
it's getting pretty long. See you,
All
bye.
right, adios.